Hello, welcome to Hammond for Hire. This is the news. We're talking about the M102 again today. Going to do an update on that and see how it is. For those of you living in the future, we're still under COVID rules, so it's been quite a slow bit of progress really. For those of you in the future, I hope the hover cars are working well and we've got a decent line level Leslie interface. That'd be quite amazing. Not to decry Booker Labs, actually. I would go and check those guys out. I'm in conversations with actually stop-start about testing some of their gear. So on a good day, I might be able to get something here for you to have a look at. Okay, so where are we with the 102? Followers of mine will know that I bought the 102 nice and cheap, and we took it apart. I use the word we loosely, but we took it apart to do a couple of updates to it, a couple of mods to it, to see if we can't gig it like a C3, and that would be the plan. So, what did we do? Well, it was 1960 frozen stiff, so it had foam, dodgy foam, so we had to get the gooey foam taken out. That has been removed now. I'll intersperse this video with a couple of photographs, I think, that we took along the way to see where we are. The foam is gone. And then we took the key beds out, cleaned all the keys. Good Lord, they were dirty. So quite a lot of dirt and grime on there. So we cleaned all the keys. Got very dirty fingers doing that. The key's nice and clean. Taking the key beds out, bought the foldback connections, and we've put the fold back in on the top thing. So if you look back on my other videos, you'll see what I'm talking about there. But there's some notes, some drawbars missing at the top, up there, and those are now in, which is great. We've also done the poor man's foldback, as it's known, which is down the bottom octave here on the lower manual. Now it's not real foldback. We're not really putting foldback, but we're actually doubling up some of the bassy tone there, and it gives a bit of an impression. Is the plan. I say is the plan because we haven't switched it on yet. So we've got the foldback in at the top and the poor man's foldback in the bottom. Now, by putting in that lower foldback, you end up moving a bunch of wires up about 4 inches, and then you end up with some spare at the top. Did that, couldn't get the key bed back in, could we? Because the loom is in the way. So, what we had to do is then unwire it, morning's work unwiring it, and extend all of the contacts onto the lower manual, and then be able to put it in. Still a couple of things still niggling a little bit. The drawbars are fouling. I can feel them just about fouling there. So I have to have a look at that and see what to do. But we've kind of put it together. You'll be able to see things are in a better state. You'll be able to see things are in a pretty tragic state as well down the bottom there. So I'll come on to that now. The amp is currently away. It's a preamp amp, as you may know, unlike the C3, which is behind you over there, which is obviously just a preamp of the A100's preamp power upside down thingy that you see. I quite like the A100 actually. So the power amp is away, and it's having all the power element of the amp taken off, and we're keeping all the pre bit, and we're going to try and use some of that space to wire in the reverb preamp back into it. So if you remember from last time, there's a power and preamp together that makes all the noise, the stationary noise, and then separately there's a reverb amp that is massively over the top when you switch it on, and goes to a separate speaker down here. So the plan is to wire the one into the other so that we don't need the amp side, and we don't need the spare amp or any of the speakers. You'll see all the speakers are out as well. Get rid of those. Get rid of the foot pedals as well. So what we've ended up with is something that's quite light. I'm sure the roadies will be pleased with that. And hopefully the reverb will go in onto these switches. We're going to make it 1/4 inch. We've explained that one before. So that's hopefully when the lockdown next finishes, a couple of weeks or something like that for the next stage. Me and my engineer Amanda will be in, and we'll work on the preamp. It's going to go 1/4 inch out. That's pretty standard. My Leslie 145 over there, which is my gigging Leslie, is converted to 1/4 inch audio input, so it'd be nice and easy. Now, before I took all this apart and messed around with it, we stuck it into the 145 via the Lounsbury organ grinder, which I use exclusively on the XK5 over there. Sounded pretty good, actually. We hadn't at the time disconnected the internal speakers, so there's a little bit of a battle there between the very stationary sound and the 145 in my face. So I wasn't quite sure, you know, exactly how it sounds. So I'll do another thing on that, because if I can get away with that, which is a fantastic beast of a pedal on the XK5, if it works as well on a very hot Hammond tone wheel, then all the better. If it doesn't, I've got a few ideas. If it doesn't, I'm being wooed by Profcon. I don't know if you've heard Profcon. Have a look on eBay, you'll see something there. Australian company, hand-built overdrives, and they have an end-cheek version, and they have a more stompy box version. Although it's not a stompy box, it'll be there, but with 1/4 inch ins and outs. So the decision is really whether I fancy that or not. So let's see the organ grinder, see how it works with the M. Got a feeling it'll be okay. But with my C behind me, I'm interested in the end cheek version of the Profcom that they got down here. It's really nice, and I've seen a few videos of it, and it sounds okay. So I'm going to talk to those guys too and see what I can't get there. Maybe be able to demonstrate something for you soon if I buy it. The question is really which one to buy, because the end cheek version fits in very nicely on a C. You know, they will try and match the wood for you as well, which is fair play. But that's wired in. Then if I wanted to use it on here, well, you know, I can't, can I? Because it's wired in. Conversely, if I use the foot pedal version or the pad version, it's going to look a bit messy when I use it over on the C. And I don't gig the C as often, to be fair. But you know, in my head, it'll be messy. So, talking to my engineer and electrician the other day, and we've got a bit of a plan. I'll get the end cheek version, I think, and wire it in, and then put a couple of connectors. So when it goes under into the C3, it's got connectors, and that means I can either Velcro or one screw out, disconnect, and then we'll do the same thing here. And then on the M102, there's a big M block doing nothing there. So we could just stick it there and have the same wires, you know, presenting out with a click. And that means that I'll be able to use it on both for just the 194 UK pounds it would be. But that's only if the organ grinder doesn't come true. And really, we haven't done a proper test yet. We'll have to do that when it's all set up and working. Other things that we can do, we're looking at maybe utilising some of these tabs for other things. We might put overdrive on off, you know, or we could have the bass. I'm kind of interested in having the bass drawbar as the amount of reverb and having that on the potentiometer, but I don't even know if that's possible. I'll get a call after this and I'll find out if it's possible or not. But it's quite a nice idea, you know, as you pull it out. And a master volume as well. And then, as I say, this end cheek is so useful down here. I think we can do something. We can do something down there. After that, I'm really keen on taking whatever these smoothing filters are on the keys that were developed to remove the key click. I love the key click. It does a lot for me in my style of rhythmic playing. You know, it helps me out, that worn key click nature. So I'm interested in removing that. And the next time we meet, I think we should be able to hear how the foldback has worked there, how the poor man's foldback has worked down there, and how the reverb's coming in and out, if that works okay. So just a quick one really, just a quick 9-minuter to say hello, how are you? Hope you're all still well, and we're all, you know, we're getting through this horribleness that we've got throughout this year and last year. And the next time you see this, hopefully we'll have it. I don't think I'll ever have the back on, but hopefully, you know, with the amp will be in there, preamp at least, and we'll have it switched on and purring, and maybe I'll get a mic or two up against the 145, and we can hear how it's getting on, you know. So that's the news on the 102 at the moment. There's a couple of things to update you on. Whilst we're in lockdown, I'm not playing with my band, the Quickbeats, thequickbeats.com. So I've been utilising those guys and all of the guys in the Midlands of the UK and beyond, really. And since about this time last year, I've produced a song a week with a video, stuck it up on Facebook. Right, it's just a vanity project. There's nothing more than that. But you know, sometimes you don't get to do Highway Star. You don't get to do. I can't remember the band now, but you know, it's sort of we did Faith No More. We've done Metallica, but we've also done some beautiful soul songs as well, and a bit of Genesis at one point. You know, so all sorts of different stuff you don't get to do, and I don't get to play with all these other musicians in my normal day to day. So whilst we've been in COVID, I've been doing that. So you can have a look at that. So if you go to my Facebook page, which is Nick Foley UK, or my Instagram, Nick Foley UK, you'll probably see some of those if you're interested. Just a bit of fun, but it's quite nice. And finally, if you find yourself being a Hammond for hire, you know, I am simply a Hammond for hire. If you find yourself being a Hammond for hire, then you could do worse than a nice Hammond for hire t-shirt. So if anyone wants one, come and see me after class, and we'll sort that out for you, and I can let you know how to get hold of those, because they're quite snazzy and, you know, unique almost. You can't have almost unique as anyway. So I think we're done. That's it. Thank you very much. I hope you are well and safe, staying safe. We're nearly there, aren't we? We're nearly there. We can get back to our lives soon. I can get back to get this up and working, get the studio tidied up a little bit more. There are bits everywhere. And then once we've got everything tidied up, I'll come back and we'll do another little update on how it looks and how it sounds. And then from then on, I'm going to chop it in half, and I will do updates on, you know, how it works out in the field, really, and see if it does the job. If it doesn't, I'll have too many Hammonds, won't I? But let's see how it goes. Thank you for your time. Stay safe, and I'll see you all very soon.